join me and welcome to the stage Dick Carmical, Chief Executive Officer at the Price Companies.
Good afternoon. My intent, besides being brief, is to talk about 2 points. Excuse me. First is that U.S. has an overabundance of timber, and that's forecast, and you can be quite accurate in forecasting timber out for the future. That abundance is only going to continue, and I hope to encourage you with new ideas that might involve timber to consider coming to the U.S. Second part will be to talk about who we are and what we may be able to do to help you if you choose to come there. To tell you about who we are, I think may have been best summed up by my wife this morning. She's traveling with me, and as I started to walk out the door, she says, "Putting a suit on you is about like putting pearls on a pig." And I had to agree with her. This is, I normally start the day before daylight with blue jeans and work boots on, and wherever I go to a facility, I expect the same of myself as we expect of all of our lieutenants and other management staff, which is if somebody's stuck, we're going to help pull them out. If there's a bark breakdown, we're going to help dig it out. We're all part of a team, and I'm telling you that to explain the culture that we've used that I think has been successful for us, and we intend to keep going that route, which is we are the partner for the larger companies to provide services that it's just more efficient for them to let us do that kind of work. It's also we're able to raise capital when we do these things so that they can spend their money on areas of higher return than the woodyard part, which is the big thing that we do. We're mostly known, though, for our wood processing facilities. We right now produce around 30 million tons a year of processed wood to be used in various timber industries. That's the equivalent of about 1 million truckloads a year that goes through our process. So if we talk about all these wonderful things that I've listened to for the last 2 days about what people are developing, and it's exciting, right? But I'm a simple guy, and only just common sense is the kind of stuff that I have to try to get things to. And I go back to, why aren't we doing more with trees? I mean, here it is, at no cost to anybody, photosynthesis is taking care of half the heavy lifting of getting that CO2 captured in the first place. And then these trees are providing, oxygen that they're releasing when it takes in the CO2. It's making products that's life necessary for us. And if we get better at it, as we're working with our team in various forms and processes of sequestration, then it's a low-hanging fruit in terms of how we can actually do projects that are carbon negative. In this particular example, I'm going to use this to kind of transfer out from who Price is, then to go over and talk about wood in America. So what it's showing to me is that an acre is not an acre. If you look down there in the heart of the South, you'll see the darker region, which is capturing more CO2 each year. This is because of temperature, better soil, and a more intensely managed forest in that region. When I tell you that we have an abundance of wood, first thing you must ask yourself, is this a guy that's over here hoping to lure us over there so he can run up the price of wood on his own land? Thank you very much. The answer is yes. No, seriously. What has happened, and nothing to me confirms that these timber volumes have really gotten excessive, is when you look at this chart, the landowner is receiving about half today for his timber that he did the equivalent of 50 years ago. We're growing that type volume. And you ask why? And it's a bit like growing up on a rice and cattle farm, as I did, that when I was a young man, we raised 100 bushels of rice or corn per acre on our ag ground. We were good farmers. But because of good genetics, good science, we've now doubled that, and we've done the same thing with timber. Yet we've not expanded the products that we make from it. We're still making paper, and we're building homes just like we did 80 years ago. This is where we need you guys with the new uses. Another statistic that I find interesting that also helps tell us why we have such an abundance of timber is the migration of people off the farm. This really started heavy at World War II, where the small farms that weren't very successful to start with, as most farms probably are, people, because of the war, moved off either to get jobs in factories or they went in the Army and were shipped off. But what's going on is, go back to my dad, he was born in 1920, and at that time, 50% of the U.S. population lived on the farm. Dad dies in 2004, and that number is now less than 2%. Take this chart. This came out of The Economist. I don't know if some of you probably saw it, may not realized it, but this was in The Economist magazine about 2 months ago. And what it's showing is there's a massive movement that's still going on in the U.S. as people move off the land, whether it's better schools perceived to be in the cities or overall quality of life, or for whatever reason. If you look down there in the heart of the South, close to where you saw the really dark area as far as carbon capture going on, you'll see most of those areas are pink and red, meaning that they're going down in population in this 10-year census as much as 20 or 30% in population. When that land is lost in terms of the individual living on the land, where he probably kept a few cows, he has a horse, may have had a big garden, may even grown a little something commercial. But when they move off the land, timber winds up being the low-hanging fruit. It's the easiest thing to do from absentee ownership is grow timber. So we're continue to add quite a bit back to quite a bit of land back into timber. Another slide just showing, confirming again what I'm talking about. This is the intensity of pine timber that's available here in the South, and just in less than 20 years now, you see how much more is increased in volume. So I promise to be brief, and this is my closing slide. This is a list of some of the companies that we've worked for. We're very proud of those relationships we have with those people. They're the major pulp and paper and forest industry companies in the U.S. Some of these relationships go back 35 plus years. We have contracts with them long term that they've had plenty of opportunities to run us off, and we're real happy that they hadn't. But the single biggest asset that's not been talked about since I've been up here doesn't show up on our balance sheet, but it's our people. We're extremely proud, and that attitude I mentioned at the beginning of the thing, where every man will help out, or woman will do whatever the team needs done. It reminds me of what I've heard about the Marines in the past, that a guy can be this position or a clerk or whatever, but in the end, they're all combat infantrymen. And I look at that as our team. We pull for each other. It's almost family-like in relationship. It's not like it's 10 or 15 people. It's 700 or 800 people in the whole thing. It's a great relationship. We look after our people. We hire based on will he do what he says, and will he show up? And if that guy will try and show up, then we believe we have a responsibility to help them get to whatever is the highest level that they can possibly attain. That's almost like it's a it isn't almost, it is a responsibility of us. And with that goes some of the best success stories I know, where guys that started out pushing brooms are now managers for us. So we're proud of our company, but we recognize that we've got to perform today, or we'll be like a professional coach that starts a losing streak. We'll be forgotten about what happened in the past. So we re-earn our keep every week. We know that. Good luck to you all in what's going on right now. The world needs a hero in these climate change battles that we're into. I think forestry can play a role in that. I've heard a lot of other options that are being considered out here that can too. We're a phone call away if there's ever anything that we can brainstorm with you about. Thank you for your time. We're going to have some caps back here for those of you that suffered through this heat listening to me talk. Please get a cap. Thank you.